Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
Hello, this is Marcia Hawkins, and this is Elevating with Marcia. Welcome to the show today. Elevating Marcia is a way for you to elevate your business with a guest appearance on Elevating with Marcia. I invite you to direct message me on Facebook or Instagram to learn how you can feature your business, product, or services with a red-hot podcast. Create superfans for your business. We will take the hour and deliver your personal message about your business in a news format that you can find it very helpful for your business. It's broadcasted on XM 203, Series 217, and on the Sirius XM app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You can also find me on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, TuneIn, and the American Forces Radio Network. Today's show is brought to you by Blue Wave Financial. Let Mike Athis help you start a new career in the insurance industry. To learn more, stop by bluewavefinancial.com. Mike is the best in the business. And myhealth-quotes.com to learn how to navigate crucial information to ensure you are able to make a knowledge-based decision when it comes to selecting the right health or life plan for you and your family. It's not advised to simply obtain an online quote without understanding underwriting guidelines. Critical information needed to ensure you select a plan you're actually qualified for. Very important. And of course, elevatedmediaesq.com. Please stop by our Facebook or Instagram page at Elevating with Marcia. We post informative information, sports news, business, and lifestyle tips and ideas to help elevate you and your business. Today's podcast, we're going to be talking about a subject I have to believe affects everyone, and I mean everyone, whether directly or indirectly. Addiction. I feel it was appropriate, given we talk an awful lot about health and wellness and helpful information for a healthy lifestyle. I feel like it ties in with why many are unable to overcome bad habits. Is addiction the underbelly of the habit? Well, my guess is a resounding yes. That is the subject of today's podcast here on Elevating with Marcia, XM 203, Sirius 217, and on the app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. I invite you back in a few minutes, and we'll take a quick break and tackle addiction when we return. We'll be right back.
The world is changing so fast these days. You ever feel like you're not keeping up personally or professionally? Enter Elevated Media ESQ. Elevating with Marcia allows you to advertise in a form you never thought possible. They feature a business in an interview-type fashion, which is comfortable, amazingly affordable, and flexible. Not only that, the feature on your business is then formulated into a podcast for convenient, on-demand listening 24/7, 365. These times we're living in demand a different, clearer, more concise message. Does this sound like how you feel about how you market and advertise your business? Reach out today, no matter how big or small your business is. Elevating with Marcia is highly effective, and you'll be so grateful for the superfans she'll create. Email hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. Elevated Media ESQ, changing your business for the better.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, don't worry. There's a bright side. The experts at brightsidetaxrelief.com will protect you from having your wages garnished, money deducted from your bank account, and your home or business seized. brightsidetaxrelief.com will fight the IRS and negotiate to reduce or eliminate the amount you owe. Visit brightsidetaxrelief.com or call 800-730-4313. That's 800-730-4313. The consultation is free. Go to brightsidetaxrelief.com now.
I need tech that can make me as productive in my home office as I am at my office.
It's possible.
I need a PC that'll help launch my side hustle without grounding my budget.
Staples Connect makes it possible with the tools you need to work from home. And now get up to $150 off select PCs like the Lenovo Flex 2-in-1 laptop with Intel i5 processor. Explore what's new at your local Staples or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. N612 in-store only, limit 2.
The double play!
It's baseball season, and you're ready to go all out. So you ordered the essentials to make game day a success, like a jersey, a power recliner, and a bigger screen. And you used your Bank of America customized cash rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping. Rewards that you put toward an essential piece of the celebration, an air horn. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2021, Bank of America Corporation.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment.
Alrighty, welcome back. This is Marcia Hawkins, and this is Elevating with Marcia. Welcome to the show today. Well, 2021. Glad to see 2020 is in the history books. It does appear that we are heading to some semblance of normalcy again. Normal we once knew. Less than 100 days to the official start of the 2021 NFL season. Nobody is more excited about it than yours truly. Major League Baseball underway, Stanley Cup action, NBA playoffs underway. Tiger Woods still rehabbing after that horrific car crash. I will be interested to see when and if he has a normal return to the PGA. I don't understand the full scope of his injuries, but I understand that rehab is going to take quite some time. So be very interested to see where he stands after all the rehabbing. And he had a bad back prior to all this. I have to believe that he has going to have some compensatory pain from this accident with that. So it'll be interesting to see how Tiger pulls out of this, following that very, very closely. So, a lot of injuries in the sports world can be career-ending in some cases. And what made me think the other day, I wonder, and I honestly do not recall, if you have any information on this, I'd love for you to direct message me on Instagram or post a comment on Facebook. I don't really remember growing up seeing the level of injuries, say, with the Red Sox or the Yankees or any of the sports teams that I followed as a kid, having the level of injuries that we have today in professional sports. I need to look into that. I'm very curious, if nothing else. And it's curious that we're talking about injuries today because I've often wondered, are they a gateway to the addiction issues? Several years ago, I worked in an office building that also shared the same space with Department of Family and Children Social Services. And I was struck how many times during the course of the week that I would see infants and very, very young children being brought into, they were basically confiscated in either a drug raid or, some type of call was made to social services that, the children were in danger. And it often struck me how young these children were. And I remember thinking vividly how, I'm a mom, I always wondered how a mother at such a young age would see her child being taken out by social services for drug use or alcohol use or neglect. And, you know, to be honest with you, I know that in most cases, drugs and alcohol are the underbelly of what's really going on in that situation. And I just could never understand it. And I struck up a conversation with one of the social workers that worked there, and he was telling me in the parking lot one day how it shocked him too, but he became so hardened to it that it didn't seem to matter. The drugs and alcohol were so much more powerful to them that they didn't see it that way. That he would go to court and, you know, social services would work to try to, you know, get the kids out of foster care and get them back into the home. And how many times the parents would be a no-show for court, and they really, you know, didn't make much of an effort to get these kids back. Unfortunately, if you're not going to address the drug and alcohol issue, you know, those kids most likely will end up in foster care for the rest of their lives or something much worse. So it got me thinking the other day about wanting to do a show on addiction. I have to believe, as I said in my opening, that it truly does affect. If it doesn't affect you directly, it has to affect you indirectly, whether it's someone in your family, extended family, a spouse, God forbid, a child. I have a very dear friend who lost both her only two children to drugs, a drug overdose, and one to fentanyl, one very recently. And over the past, I would say, 10 or 15 years, I really have become to understand addiction a little bit better. I was one of those that didn't think it was a disease. In my opinion, if you drink too much or you do drugs, put a cork in it, put the needle down, put the drugs down, and get on with your life. And I have a new respect, if that's the correct word to use here, about addiction, because I'm beginning to understand just the level that it goes to, and it's just remarkable to really try to delve into it and understand it, which I still don't know everything, and it's a learning curve for me, you know, for sure. But I wanted to talk about it today because I really know that it affects a lot of people, and, you know, people are probably thinking, well, you know, everyone talks about addiction, it's all over the news, but it is all over the news, but I don't feel like we're ever really getting to the heart of the issue. And I think there's a lot of people who simply don't understand it, who really feel that it's willpower. If you can't drink, just stop. But I must tell you, the more I research it, the more people I interview, the more I talk about it, the more that I realize there's a lot more to it than even I ever could have imagined. So I do want to talk about it today. Alcoholism. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I had a friend who lost both of her children, both her sons, to a drug overdose and a fentanyl death. One very, very recently. He passed away in January. Her other son passed away in October, I want to say, of about 10 or 12 years ago. And she herself is an alcoholic. And I remember having a conversation with her one day. She had been 17 years sober. And I was curious, like, what was your bottom? Like, how did you all of a sudden decide that, okay, I've had enough, I can't drink? She told me a funny story, which I will not repeat on air, as to why she ended up quitting drinking, what her threshold, what her bottom was, if you will. But she had hit rock bottom, and she decided to get herself to Alcoholics Anonymous, and she was 17 years sober when we had that conversation. So it's quite interesting to me, the level of rock bottom that people have to hit sometimes before they're going to pull their life together. I mean, how many, I read in the paper, maybe about a year ago, a man that had 6 DUIs. 6 DUIs. Why he was driving, I have no idea, but at some point, like, why does a bell not go off in your head that you simply cannot drink anymore, and you need to get help for it? But you know, I guess it's just it's so powerful. And I know when I talk to people who are in AA, they always tell me, you know, every day is a new day. They just try to get through the day without drinking, and I just never understood the depths of it. Personally, I have never had an addiction problem. I never really understood it, but I do know that people that get into the programs, talked to a man yesterday who was telling me it has a 96 to a 97% failure rate of trying to stay sober in whatever capacity that means, whether it's drugs or alcohol, gambling, food addiction, something we're going to talk about in the next segment. It's really remarkable that it has such a high failure rate. And I think to myself that 3 to 4% that have been able to get their life together and be able, to put a cork in it, if you will. I hear the phrase in AA a lot with some of my AA friends, put a slug in the jug. And it really is remarkable just how dicey it is for someone who's in that 3 to 4%. Somebody who has 17 years sobriety, like my friend did, she ended up relapsing. Another guy in AA was telling me that I interviewed for this program was telling me that he had a man that was 11 years sober, and his wife had gone out of town, and he decided to go a couple of 20 miles down the road to find a package store to buy some beer. And lo and behold, he walks out of the liquor store and runs right into his neighbor, and he was busted. He was drinking again. And it baffles me how you can have that many years of sobriety and then relapse. And yet the more that I interview people, the more that I research online about alcoholism and drug addiction, it is just remarkable how you can train your body to need the alcohol, to need the drug, which is going to, obviously create another whole set of problems for you or anybody in terms of trying to give up that drug or that wine or beer or whatever your drink of choice happens to be. Really, really quite remarkable just how addictive the drugs and the alcohol are, and just how difficult it is to overcome that. And with 2020 and the whole COVID thing, I've read and I've talked to several people who said it was a really tough year for people that had sobriety. Just yesterday, went to the post office and I heard the local undertaker telling the woman at the post office that he was shocked at how many young people he buried this year and this past year due to COVID, due to drugs, due to alcohol. So it's just, he was shaking his head. He said, honestly, I've never seen anything quite like it. So COVID definitely had a lot of collateral damage aside from the obvious. And it's really just really too bad that, here we are, 2021. We're kind of getting back to some sense of normalcy. But nonetheless, we still have a ways to go as far as that's concerned. All right, everybody, we're going to delve into this a little bit more on the other side of the break. I do need to take a break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, Sirius 217, and Sirius XM app on 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health care for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health care for you and your family immediately and save as much as 50% off your current monthly health care payments. Our plans are perfect for people that are self-employed, can't afford health benefits where they work, or just want to pay less for their current health care. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. We even offer some of the new Christian faith-based health benefits. Save up to 50% on your family's health care. Make a free quick call now. There are no contracts, and we give you a 10-day money-back trial period. Call Provision Enrollment right now for your risk-free, guaranteed health insurance quote starting at $6 a day.
800-472-5145.
800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 203, Sirius 217, and on the app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Today we are talking about addiction, something that is near and dear to my heart. I do have several family members who are struggling with addiction. I have several friends that are dealing with addiction. I have friends who have lost children to addiction. I have friends who have lost spouses to addiction. And I felt it was a good time to delve into it and see if we could possibly make light of it in terms of, bringing it to light for people who, in my opinion, it's talked about, but not nearly enough. Just a quick thing, if you're interested in featuring your business on Elevating with Marcia, we can help you. Podcasting is red hot right now. It's a productive way for you to hit your intended audience. If it's something like this, like addiction or a cause you want to talk about, I would love to have you on the program. Podcasting is a great way to reach your intended audience. You can direct message me on Instagram or Facebook, and we will get you on my schedule. All right, so we're talking about addiction. I do want to give out some information if you are struggling with addiction. And I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about gambling. I want to talk about food addiction, drugs, and alcohol. But if you have a substance abuse or an addiction problem, you can call a helpline. It's private, it's confidential help from trusted professionals 24/7. The number is 844-289-0879. Again, that number is 844-289-0879. I have some statistics I kind of want to go over with a little bit. These were just very alarming to me. Deaths from alcohol use average 95,000 per year. That's over 260 deaths per day. I was shocked to learn that the deaths shorten lives of those who die by an average of almost 29 years. That statistic alone I felt was very staggering. In addition to people who die from direct alcohol deaths, you also have a potential loss of life from deaths due to cancer, liver disease, heart disease. The short-term effects on consuming large amounts of alcohol over a short period then begs the question where you get the poisonings, you get obviously the addiction to the alcohol, drug overdoses, suicide, and then of course motor vehicle accidents. I was just absolutely blown away that we lose that many people per day to just alcohol abuse alone. So again, that number, if you are struggling with it, I would not invite you, I would beg you to call 844-289-0879. Also, AA 212-870-3400. And of course, you can also go to alcoholicsanonymous.org online. They have some great resources there. Albeit, though, I will give a shout out to AA. They definitely need to improve their website. It appears to be very antiquated. In a tech age that we're in, I definitely think that I felt going through trying to figure out if I was looking for help online, going through the website, I felt like it was quite a few click-throughs before I actually got the information I was looking for. Also, If you're struggling with a gambling problem, you can also visit gamblersanonymous.org. If you go to gamblersanonymous.org, you can click on your state and you will find the resources you need for your state. I spoke to someone the other day who's in GA. They were telling me that through COVID, some of the programs that they had going, the GA programs that they have, they were doing them via Zoom, which I thought was a great idea. And I felt like it was not only was it a great idea, but it was great for people who are can't drive, or they have health issues and they can't get there. So I do hope that they continue doing the Zoom meetings, even though we are getting back. I noticed when I was researching for the show today that a lot of the AA are starting, the AA meetings are starting in-house again. So they're starting those up again. So I do hope for people that, can't drive, have health issues, or for one reason or another can't get to those meetings, I do hope that they still do them via Zoom so those people can still take advantage of those programs, because they are invaluable. Again, that number for substance abuse and drug addiction hotline, 844-289-0879. We talked a little bit about alcohol. We talked a little bit about drug addiction, gambling addiction. Some of the stats on that were also quite remarkable. This is crazy. The comparison of gambling addiction versus men versus women, it's more common with men, which I found to be a little bit funny. Of course, the big thing now is they are approving and making it lawful to do gambling online, which makes me a little nervous. Making it that readily available is just a little concerning in terms of the access that people now have to gambling. It's just remarkable. There's a store that I go to on Saturdays, not all the time, but every couple of Saturdays I'll go to pick up a few things, and I call it the casino. I stand in line most times for at least 20 minutes while people line up. They have tables set aside where you can sit and scratch your tickets, and it's just amazing. 20 minutes to get out for a gallon of milk sometimes, but, there we are. It also was kind of interesting to me. One study looked at gambling, and the onset found that 69% of adolescents report beginning gambling before the age of 12. Personally, I know that to be true. I have a person in my life who has a gambling addiction, and it definitely started around that age. So I do know that statistic is definitely one that I would pay attention to. Older adults might be more vulnerable to a compulsive gambling if they experience loneliness or isolation. Many gamblers also have a dual addiction of either drugs and alcohol. When I interviewed one gambler last week, he was telling me that he too started at a very, very young age. He did not have any alcohol issues, but that it definitely started at a very, very young age for him. Getting back to what I said in the first segment, I would think that gambling, because you don't have that physical dependence like you do with drugs and alcohol, I often wonder, gambling to me, the obvious would be it would just be easy, just stop gambling. But one thing, the common thread that I've learned with not only the gambling and the drinking, but it's a behavioral issue. The integral part of what's going on, the common denominator, if you will, with all of it is it's a behavior issue. And unfortunately, a lot of times when people go through an addiction, and they may go into treatment, they may not have access to alcohol or drugs, and they're forced into sobriety, whether they're incarcerated or they're sectioned into a drug or rehab program, and they have to go court ordered, and they're unable to get the drugs and alcohol, and they're forced into it. But if the behavior that goes along with the addiction is not addressed, many of them told me time and time again that is a precursor for a relapse, because they simply, they haven't addressed the issue. Sometimes I've heard many times from alcoholics, it's not the drinking, it's the thinking that gets them into trouble every single time and causes the relapse. One of the guys I interviewed for the program was talking to him, and I said, you mentioned to me that you you tend to, gravitate towards the alcohol because you get into a situation, you get stressed out, and you decide to head to the bar and start drinking. The non-drinker in me always says, well, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to head to a bar if you've got problems? You're going to get drunk, and then you're going to wake up and you're still going to have those problems. And he said to me, you would think that light bulb would go on in my head, and I would not do that. But he said, it's just the opposite. I drink to escape. I don't want to think about my problems. So, yeah, it's just interesting. And another term that I've heard quite a few times with alcoholics is the term dry drunk. And I never understood what that meant, but that ties into the behavior. Many times they will, stop drinking, but the behavior doesn't change. So simple things in their life, like whether they were having financial trouble or relationship trouble or troubles with their employers or their job or their business, a lot of times it's because they simply have not addressed the underlying issue, which is their behavior. And I hear that a lot. A lot of people who have quit drinking, and they can even tout that they have several years of sobriety. The unfortunate piece of that is because they did not change their behavior, they simply are not drinking anymore. But their life really hasn't changed. So I love that term dry drunk. I never really understood it till someone explained it to me, that even though they're not drinking, the behavior has not changed. So it really does, it goes to show you that, it's a very complex, very, very complex issue. And I hope that regardless of what administration is in the White House, that the drug and alcohol crisis in this country definitely gets addressed, because it definitely is a problem. All right, we need to take a quick break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, Sirius 217, and Sirius XM on the app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. We'll be right back. If you're not using podcasting for your business, you will. Not having a podcast is like not having a website. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel. You can get your business on my podcast. It's a great way to create superfans for your business with a controlled message in a news format. What better way to get in front of your intended audience, your clients, your customers, or patients? Please contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com about getting your business on my show, Elevating with Marcia. We also can create a personalized podcast that you can use on your website or social media channels. Contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com and join me on Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel.
Time for your Small Business Report presented by Dell Small Business. While you may be very passionate about your business, you won't achieve success by going about it all on your own. You'll need to rely on both human and technical resources to achieve your dream. Don't try to do everything yourself. One major key to growing is to learn what to hold on to and know what to trust to others. Too many small business owners never develop their company as there are not enough hours in the day for them to do it all. So delegate and build a great team. And that's your Dell Small Business Report.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
I want to tell my dad he's the best, but not with a coffee mug.
With Staples Connect, it's possible.
How about great tech that my dad can figure out without my help?
Definitely possible with Staples Connect. Staples Connect has amazing prices on the best Father's Day tech. This week, Apple AirPods Pro are just $199 and iPads start at only $299. Explore all the innovative tech at your local Staples store or at staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. N619, limit 2, in-store only.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Marcia Hawkins on Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 217, XM 203, and on the app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Welcome back. We're talking about addiction today. One of the things I did want to talk about is what the gateway is to addiction. I know that there's a lot of marijuana dispensaries popping up. I, for one, I believe for people who have medical issues, they have told me the relief they feel with the CBD and the marijuana dispensaries is just, you can't beat it. So I understand it. I'm not advocating or, wanting these, pot dispensaries to go away. But I do know that a lot of the people that I interviewed for the program have told me that marijuana was and drinking were definitely the gateway to much more challenges for them when it came to addiction. So I do worry about that. In all honesty, I do worry that pot, marijuana is a gateway to, bigger and worse drugs for people. Had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine whose husband's dealing with a very serious cancer that he's dealing with, had brain surgery last week. And of course, they had to put him on, he's a recovering addict, 27 years sober. 27 years clean, and they gave him painkillers, and lo and behold, he is now in the grips of addiction. And she said something to me on the phone the other day that just kind of really summed it all up. She said, Marcia, a lot of people say marijuana is the gateway to, bigger drug addictions. But she said, truthfully, I wonder if medical emergencies, medical challenges, medical problems are really the gateway. I know I can't count on my fingers and toes the amount of people that I know who developed an opioid addiction after knee surgery, back surgery, debilitating pain. I mean, I know for one, I had a backache a couple of years ago for a couple of weeks. I was going out of my mind. I kept thinking, again, it's one of those things, unless you live it, you don't understand it. And I'm in that group. I never understood addiction the way I do now. The last 10 to 12, maybe even 15 years, I really have tried to have a better understanding of the addiction, because I honestly, I just thought, quit and be done with it. When I was talking to her the other day and she was telling me about it, and, it made me realize that I know that I think it's Purdue Pharmaceutical is under quite a few lawsuits with the opioids. I have a dear friend who I hope to have on the program who got addicted to painkillers, and she ended up on benzos, I guess that's the street term that they use. And she ended up, after that, her doctor was arrested for writing prescriptions. So once he went off, got carted off to jail, she was stuck. She appeared to be doctor shopping down in Florida. They ended up she ended up not being able to get a doctor to prescribe the medication. She ended up homeless, and now she is suffering from a number of debilitating side effects from, having to go cold turkey off the benzos. And her story is quite remarkable. When I listened to her, she was homeless. Luckily, a bunch of us had kind of banded together to help her. She ended up moving in with her brother, and she just, as of last Saturday, moved into a sober house where she is trying to get her life back together. But it has been a long process for her to overcome this. And yeah, so it does beg the question, is marijuana a gateway to bigger and worse drugs? I know with drinking, a lot of times drinking and drugs, they have, dual dependencies. Then you have the gambling. Gambling is one, it's unfortunate. A lot of them were telling me that they said, the problem is, you can stay away from drinking, you can stay away from drugs, but everyone has to deal with money. Everyone has to, at some point, deal with money in their life. It's hard to kind of not have that incorporated because that's how most people live. But it was interesting, and there's like 20 questions, and if you go to gamblersanonymous.org, there's a 20-question questionnaire, if you will, that you can go through. And a lot of times they tell me a lot of them will answer yes to all 20 questions, which I don't know what the percentage is. I'd have to find out what the percentage of questions that you answer that would deem that you have a gambling problem. But it's quite interesting. I was shocked to find that one of the statistics about gambling, this was really crazy to me, of how many of them end up in legal issues. They start gambling, they're trying to replace money that they gambled, the mortgage money away, went down to the casino, blew all the money, then they go back to work and they embezzle money from their employer, and it snowballs from there. And there's a lot of behavior associated with gambling that many people don't think about that gets incorporated into the life of a gambler. It's not just the casinos. It's not scratch tickets, not horse betting, but it's a behavior. It's a very I don't know what the word I would even use. I don't want to use the word odd, but you can start to see a lot of common denominators with people who gamble, and they're constantly, as one person told me, they have Sunday-itis all the time because they knew once they had to go back to work on Monday, they knew that they were up to no good at work. They knew that they had a lot of issues, and they had so much anxiety and depression about having to return to work on that Monday, knowing full well that at any point, the shoe was going to drop on them with what they were doing. And it was just remarkable. And then, of course, they would get out of work, they would start drinking, they would start gambling, and then, of course, the vicious cycle just continued. So again, I want to go over those numbers again. I'm certainly not going to have enough time to finish everything I want to talk about today. It's a very complex issue for sure. But if you are suffering from a substance addiction, problem, I invite you to call 844-289-0879. It is a 24-hour hotline, AA 212-870-3400, or alcoholicsanonymous.org. Again, their site's a little funky to navigate. I would love to find someone who could redo that for them. It's really, in my opinion, it was hard to navigate. Maybe it's just me. But anyways, they do have a lot of resources there. Again, that's alcoholicsanonymous.org. and then gamblersanonymous.org. And I also, for people who are dealing with those that have drug and alcohol issues, and you're not quite sure how to handle it yourself, I would invite you to go to alanon.org. It's a great resource for people who are trying to deal with a spouse or a child. And I got to believe having a child addicted to drugs and alcohol has to be one of the worst. I know in the last year, I can think of 5 people that have lost children to drugs and alcohol. That's a staggering number in my little world, to have to realize that. No mother or father ever wants to bury their child, especially for something like that. It's just insane. So I invite you definitely to go to alanon.org and see if there's some valuable information. I believe it runs, I've never been, but I do believe that it runs very much like the AA programs, and it's just some great resources. I know a lot of people have told me they've gotten quite a bit out of it. So I definitely encourage you to go over there. And I know they have meetings, and I'm sure, just like the rest of the world, they're going to start opening back up again. But I'm sure they were doing Zoom meetings in the interim until they were able to get that off the ground again. So, food addiction, there's another one, overeatersanonymous.org. You can always tap into that. That's another one. I find that has a lot of common denominators with the gambling. You simply cannot out food of your life. You definitely have to learn a new way. But, it's the same thing. There's a show, I think it's called 600-Pound Life. I've watched it a few times. And again, I thought it was the same thing. Like, why can't you just put your fork down? You're digging your grave with a fork as we speak. Never could understand why people could just not give up food and basically just put their fork down and eat smaller portions. To sit and watch that show sometime, it is just mind-boggling the amount of addiction they have to the food, and watching the family members who in some cases enable them. They will go out and pick up the 4 large pizzas for them, or they'll pay for the pizzas to be delivered. And a lot of times I assume it's because they're tired of being badgered all the time, and so they go ahead and do it. But it's a remarkable show to watch. I know some people watch it, they think it's great entertainment. I, on the other hand, watched it from a perspective of, wow, this is just another addiction that people are really struggling to overcome. It's really remarkable. And in so many cases, a lot of those people, even after they go through gastric bypass, it's shocking how many people will then, they may, because they cannot consume the amount of food that they once did, they will then turn around and turn to alcohol, which, wow, talk about trading one addiction in for another. But I do know that if you qualify for gastric bypass, or the gastric sleeve, I believe they call it, excuse me if I'm getting this wrong, but I do know that I believe they now require you to go through some type of psychological counseling before you undergo that surgery. Those surgeries are very dangerous. I know in the last 5 years, I know of someone who actually died on the table having that procedure done. But in some instances, it's the only option, and in many cases, I know it will save your life if you're able to finally get that weight off. So, much like Gamblers Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, I assume that they have coping skills embedded into those programs that help people, because obviously money is part of your life and food has to be part of your life. And I believe that they address all of that in those programs. It's really remarkable that the level of addictions that are out there, and it's just sad to watch sometimes. I see young kids. I saw on Facebook just in the last probably week 5 people who were under the age of 30 that were declaring 5 years sober, 2 years sober, I'm 8 years clean. And I can't imagine being in my 20s and having to deal with that. And yet it appears from everything that I can see that in most cases, the addictions are starting younger and younger and younger. Really quite remarkable. Don't know what the answer is. I certainly am not a counselor by any stretch of the imagination, but I do believe that if we can, it's just something that needs to be tackled, and I'm quite mystified as to why it's not on the agenda of every politician. I hate to make it political, but it's something that definitely needs to be addressed, and we need to try to figure out a way to help these people. Very, very sad to watch, and I'm hoping that if anyone's listening to the program, again, reach out to some of the phone numbers, which I will give on the other side of the program. And I'll also put the links onto Instagram and Facebook when I post the link to this show on the rebroadcast, so you can have that information. But I'll give them to you again, 844-289-0879. We do have to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Do you have a story to share? Your story. Lifetime Private Autobiography Services can help. We will interview you by video or phone to get your memories in your words using your pictures. Our staff of talented writers will then recreate your story into a beautifully handcrafted book. You'll receive 10 individual copies for friends and family to enjoy for generations to come. Visit privateautobiography.com to schedule a free consultation. Mention this ad for a bonus audio recording from your personal interviews. To get started, visit privateautobiography.com or call 844-921-2802. That's 844-921-2802. Remember and be remembered with this gift of a lifetime.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about Elite Rehab Placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more.
800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
Hello and welcome back to the Ronnie Deutsch Tax Program. On the line is Paul from California. Hi, Paul. What's your tax problem today?
Hi, Ronnie. Love your show. Listen, I've got a big problem. You see, my paycheck was garnished last week, and I'm only getting half the normal amount. To make matters worse, the IRS froze my bank account. Listen, I'm embarrassed and scared. I need some help.
Listen, Paul, you don't need to feel embarrassed. You just need some tax help. And the great news is the IRS has some unbelievable programs that can eliminate your tax debt so you don't have to worry about having your paycheck garnished or your bank levied. Doesn't that sound great?
It sure does, Ronnie.
Then do yourself a huge favor and get a free consultation right now and tell them the tax lady sent you.
855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. That's 855-715-5721.
All right, everybody, I want to give you those numbers real quick. Again, this is Marcia Hawkins with Elevating with Marcia, 844-289-0879. If you are dealing with an addiction problem, I invite you to call that number, alcoholicsanonymous.org, gamblersanonymous.org, and alanon.org if you need help dealing with someone with addiction. All right, I want to thank you for tuning in for another podcast of Elevating with Marcia on XM203. Sirius 217 and on the app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Today's show was brought to you by BlueWaveFinancial.com. Call Mike Athos to help start your new career. MyHealthQuotes.com and Elevated Media ESQ. Please stop by our Facebook and Instagram page at Elevating with Marcia. We post information, sports news, business, lifestyle tips, and ideas to help you elevate yourself and your business. If you are interested featuring your business on Elevating with Marcia, we can share informative and helpful information. Podcasting is red hot right now. It's productive and it allows you to reach your intended audience when it's convenient for them. Allows for multitasking. It creates relationship building with your audience. Let's face it, nobody promotes your business better than you. With a passionate and clear message about your products, services, or cause, the 1 hour podcast will allow you to connect and create super fans. It also helps with providing rich content you can utilize on all your social media channels. Powerful marketing investment and strategic means to link your business with new customers and clients. If you're a business owner looking to market your business with a podcast, direct message me on Instagram or Facebook. That's all for today on Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Remember, always Always be in the minute to win it and make it a great week. Adios.